Welcome to the Leadership RIOT, Real Issues, Overdue Truths. I'm Rose.
I'm Dominique.
Together we bring decades of real-world experience across every layer of organizational life, from individual contributors through to executive roles and board-level leadership. This podcast is a culmination of everything we've learned, unlearned, heard, challenged, and championed along the way.
And for years, we've been sitting across from each other over coffee, over tea, over wine, talking about everything from culture, leadership, HR, to the wonderful, chaotic reality of working with people. Every time we finish one of those conversations, we say, someone should really hear this.
So we hit record, and that's why we're here.
And this is where the unfiltered stories are going to come out, where we challenge the status quo, we laugh at the absurdity of work, we question the rules, and we uncover the truth behind what it really means to lead. Welcome to the Riot.
Dom, it's so great to see you. I'm really excited and a little bit nervous about kicking off our very first Riot today with a topic that every organization and employees say they care about, but very few really actually understand. The topic is, big meaty one, culture. And more importantly, who actually owns it? Dom, we've talked about this for years.
Yeah, we have. And this one really gets us going. So here's the question that I want everyone listening to sit with for a second. Who owns culture in your organization? Is it the CEO? Is it HR? Is it the executive team? Or is it everyone? And why does that question matter? Because how you answer it shapes everything. Who feels responsible, who feels powerless, who gets blamed, and whether culture becomes an actual strategic advantage or just a slide in onboarding that nobody ever lives.
Exactly. Culture can be fantastic, or it can be messy. It can really be emotional. It's invisible until it breaks. And we've all experienced and seen that. And when it breaks, everybody notices. This isn't something really new or a new philosophical debate. You and I have caffeine overload over this. So many times we've discussed it. In your opinion, why does it feel so urgent now?
So for me, it's the rise of job titles that include, like chief people and culture officer, or head of people and culture, or people and culture coordinator. Titles that didn't exist a decade ago. And it's definitely a trend. The question is whether it's a good one and if it really solves the ownership issue. So I got curious and I did what I guess everyone does nowadays when they're curious. And I asked ChatGPT, how many open roles are there right now with people and culture in the title? And here's what I found. So LinkedIn Canada, over 18,000 roles have that titling. LinkedIn US, over 200,000 roles. Indeed Canada, 5,500. Read in the UK, over 4,000. And that's just today. So clearly it's not a one-off.
Those numbers are wild. Like I had no idea that over 200,000 just in North America.
Right? And here's the thing, titles like that imply that HR owns culture. But is that a reality? Or is it just corporate lip service, like values that are printed on a wall and never lived?
I could see that creating a culture of, hey, it's not in my job description mentality. Or worse, does it make HR be the scapegoat? Culture's busted, so it must be HR. But then, if culture's fantastic, does HR get the credit?
Yeah, usually not. So let's flip the perspective. If an organization asked employees who owns culture, what would they say? Would they blame someone else? Would they say HR? Would they feel empowered? Would they kind of shrug and say, I don't know?
How about then, asking the executive team the same question? That would be really interesting because if those answers don't match, isn't that the gap right there? Isn't that culture?
Absolutely. And in my experience, most organizations never actually do a good enough job explaining what culture is. It's not stuff, it's not pizza day, but it's what pizza day represents. It's about belonging, inclusion, who gets invited, who doesn't get invited. Here's a provocative statement. Culture is the worst behavior a leader is willing to tolerate. That is my most favorite quote. It's from Steve Gruner and Todd Whitaker, and I use it a lot because it's spot on.
That really is quite a statement. It's really thought provoking. It puts a spotlight on the need to define culture in an organization.
It really is what you tolerate. So if you tolerate toxicity, that's your acceptable behavioral bar. It's also how decisions are made, how feedback is given. It's psychological safety. It's how conflict plays out. It's how mistakes are treated, how people talk when a leader leaves the room. And here's the reality. Every single person influences those things every single day.
That's really thought provoking as well, as an employee or as a leader. So let's get back to these people and culture titles. Doesn't someone need to own the direction, the definition, and the clarity?
Absolutely. Someone needs to architect it, but architecture is different from ownership. Architecture defines it, puts actions and expected behaviors in place so people know what it's supposed to look like and feel like. That's intentional. Architecture has to be intentional, or else it's just like a confusing mess that's defined by individual norms, past behaviors, and habits.
That's really a great way of putting it. So then let's talk about what does great look like in practice?
So I break it down like this. The CEO states it and defines it and then models it visibly. The executive team models it, reinforces it constantly and consistently. Managers operationalize it daily. Employees believe they have agency and they have, comfort in speaking up. Reward systems align to it. Accountability is shared, not outsourced. That's when culture becomes a system, not a department.
Mm, I love that. I believe lots of organizations skip the part, the how. Everyone says they want culture. We all want culture. Everybody looks for it when you're looking for a role, but no one wants to maintain it.
Right. So here's the thought. What if every employee asked themselves on a weekly basis, what did I personally do to influence culture positively or negatively this week?
It's a great question. I could see adding that to my one-on-ones, and leaders can show leadership by answering it first.
Right. And then take it a step further. What if we were asking a job candidate, tell us about a time you influenced culture for better or worse? Rose, what would you say if I asked you that in an interview?
There would be long silence while I'm thinking about it. I've never been asked that question before. I love the idea that this could start a snowball of it being a standard question asked in interviews. But right now, I would really have to think about it. This is hard.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why there's confusion around who owns it. But culture is not HR's job. It isn't the CEO's job. It's not a poster. It's not pizza day. It is a shared responsibility. It's shaped by power. It's modeled by leaders and it's reinforced by everyone. So before you blame culture, ask yourself, what did I do this week to shape it?
That's great advice. So, if I summarize the key things, culture isn't a title, it's not a department, it's not a poster on a wall, it isn't defined or fixed because it's in somebody's title either. However, it's something that every employee talks about, good or bad, and future employees make their decisions based on how a company describes their culture.
Absolutely. I mean, it's what we all do every single day. It's how we show up. It's how we treat people, what we tolerate, and what we refuse to normalize.
And when we pretend that culture belongs to someone else, like HR, the CEO, leadership, I can see how that's when it really breaks.
Yeah, I think culture collapses the moment accountability becomes optional.
So here's the challenge I think that, we're talking about today is, everybody should ask themselves, what have I done personally to influence culture, positive or negatively, this week?
Yeah, and be honest, because that answer tells you more about your culture than any values statement ever will.
That's for sure. Honesty is like really dig deep. Dom, this is a wrap of our very first riot.
Haha, we did it. And we dove right in at the deep end too, culture, ownership, the thing everyone talks about, but almost no one actually defines.
So thanks for kicking off the riot with me. I hope everybody enjoyed this riot, our very first riot.
We can't wait to stir things up again next time. See you at the next riot.